What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Too Savage for Democrats show. My name is Dylan, and I am your host, and we have got a fantastic show coming for you guys today, so I hope you enjoy. Sorry it's coming out a little late. I had to do my radio show today. I had some other stuff to do, but we're still getting the show out to you guys, and that's what's important, right? We're still getting the show out, so let's get right into it and cover the big stories. So yesterday on my main channel, Dylan's Daily Show, I did a segment talking about racism and how Hillary Clinton is trying to pin Donald Trump as a racist. She's trying to say Donald Trump is this racist, that he's a horrible person, and basically trying to deflect the fact that the Democrats and their policies have been holding African Americans down for years, and instead she's trying to deflect that over to Donald Trump, make him look like a racist so the minorities continue to vote for her so she can continue to get whatever she wants done. You know, in essence, all big government is a way to keep the poor people as slaves to the system so that they have to continue voting for big government, right? Because then if you make them so attached to the system, so attached to the welfare system, so attached to everything like that, they can't do anything else. They can't leave the system. They're stuck. Because if they try to vote Republican, then Democrats just say, well, they're going to take away your free stuff. You shouldn't vote Republican. They're going to take away your free stuff. So they have this spiraling effect where you can't escape it unless you just go for it and vote Republican, you know, hoping that they'll be able to bring jobs back, which is what Donald Trump wants to do. You know, I like Reagan's quote, the best social program is a job. And I think that's 100% accurate, right? Jobs are the way to create a better economy. Jobs are the way to help these inner city families and these inner city people that are living in inner cities that have all this stuff going on. Jobs are the way to do it. It isn't through social welfare programs. It isn't doing anything like that. It's through jobs. But Hillary Clinton's been trying to pin Donald Trump as a racist, and something very interesting happened recently with Jesse Jackson. So you guys know who Jesse Jackson is. He is a radical left-wing, calling all the Republicans racist, calling all the white people racist kind of guy. And for him to say that somebody isn't racist or to praise somebody about them helping minorities, well, that'd be pretty big, right? Because he's the one who's always calling racist, and to get the Jesse Jackson card, that's a pretty big deal, especially from someone that left-wing. But something interesting happened, and I'm reading about this on the Daily Caller, and I want to share it with you guys. So this is in 1999, so this is obviously before the whole presidential thing in 2016, obviously, 1999, right? So I don't need to give you the dates. If you can't figure out the 1999 comes before 2016, you probably shouldn't even be listening to this. So 1999, Jesse Jackson praises Trump's commitment to minorities, underserved communities. And I'm going to read from the thing really quick. I know you guys hate when I read, but I'm going to do it anyway. Jesse Jackson thinks Donald Trump is a champion of minority empowerment, or at least he used to before the turn of the millennium. Both in 1998 and in 1999, Trump was an honored guest at the annual Wall Street conference hosted by the Rainbow Push Coalition. This is Jackson's D.C.-based multiracial, multi-issue, progressive international membership organization fighting for social change. In 1998, Jackson introduced Trump ahead of his speech at the conference. He said, quote, "We need your building skills, your gusto." Jackson told the real estate mogul before starting, Trump was a model for, quote, people on Wall Street to represent diversity. So that's pretty interesting. This swallowed down the wrong tube there. It's pretty interesting that Hillary Clinton's trying to paint Donald Trump as this racist, rude, awful person. And I talked about that in my video yesterday on my main channel. But let's put a whole spin on it now. Because Jesse Jackson, he can't take that back. It's on video, right? He said that Donald Trump, he praised his commitment to minorities, said that he helps the underserved communities. So is Donald Trump racist, or does he help the underserved communities? The liberals are going to have to figure that out. Because that's what they have trouble doing, is that they're so unorganized all the time. Like, they just can't get any of their shit together at all. That they end up just all taking different positions. You know what really made me laugh was when Hillary Clinton came out and said that a large chunk of the 30,000 emails she deleted were to Bill Clinton. Remember that? And then Bill Clinton comes out and says that he hasn't used email at all. Like, they just don't even know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. They're completely clueless to what's going on. They don't have a clue. And it's funny. So I don't want to spend the whole video talking about race. I don't want to spend a large majority of it talking about race. I just wanted to touch on that because I thought it was interesting, you know. they want to talk about Donald Trump being this racist. Well, I don't see it. I see one of the biggest race baiters in the country praising Donald Trump on how he helps minorities. So you guys can think about whatever you want. What do you feel about this? Again, any of these topics, just let me know down in the comments down below, and we'll go from there. Oh, and before we get any further into the show, I want to say that this episode of the Too Savage for Democrats show is brought to you by the H is Silent and Benghazi shirts, which are on sale now for 2 weeks. So you can get that. I'll put the link down in the bio. It'll say link to shirts. The link will be right there. They're pretty cool. You can get them in a variety of colors. And it says the H is Silent and Benghazi with the Hillary logo for the H. Really cool shirt. People are loving them. You guys actually requested that we bring these ones back. So those are down in the bio. Make sure you check those out. And if you want to get one, you should get one because they are only on sale for a limited time. And remember, guys, the election is going to be here soon. So we can only run these until the election. I mean, you can't run them after the election. It's pointless. So anyway, those are down below. Make sure you check those out. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you guys were aware of how awesome of a day it is according to the White House today, but it's apparently a really special day because the White House is celebrating basically putting all of our citizens at risk. And that's just something they celebrate because they don't care about the people of this country. They care about the people of other country. But that's a different video. White House celebrates bringing 10,000th Syrian refugee ahead of schedule. Yay! Let's get a round of applause for the White House bringing in their 10,000th Syrian refugee ahead of schedule, because that's just such a big mile marker. The FBI came out and said, we can't vet these people. We have no idea what's going on. A lot of people are saying we shouldn't be doing this. The safety of the American people. The majority of the American people don't want this happening, if you look at the polls. But they just went ahead and did it anyway. And they are now celebrating bringing in the 10,000th. Woo! Everyone's happy about this. This is total crap. And I love how Hillary Clinton wants to up the amount of refugees they're bringing in by, what is it, tenfold or something ridiculous like that. She wants to bring in like 60,000 or 100. She wants to bring in as many as they possibly can, even though there's plenty of Muslim countries in the Middle East that have plenty of money, plenty of wealth that can set up the tent villages or whatever and take all these refugees. Not even the Muslim countries want to take these refugees. Not even the Muslim countries, but we're like, hey, come on in. Yeah, come on in with your bombs, please. Oh, look, ISIS says they're going to sneak in with the refugees. Oh, that's fine. Just bring them in anyway. Like, idiots. So dumb. And I've literally, this has been an issue for the majority of the year. And I've spoken about this over and over again on my show, on my main channel, and on this show. You've got just a bunch of crap. Like, you look around Paris, right? San Bernardino, all these places. Basically, it's happening a lot in Europe, is what you're seeing, where these refugees are radicalized. They're coming over there. They're doing these massive terrorist attacks over there. And it's ridiculous. And now we're just going to bring them into our country, right? And I don't want to make it sound like I don't care about, like, the women and the children and the people like that. I do, right? And it's obviously a problem that we've got a radical religion that would even kill people of its own religion. But that's not, okay, no, I don't want to sound this bad, but number one, that isn't our problem. Number two, if we did want to help, and if we did want to bring some people in, we have to have a better vetting process, right? That's the main thing. I mean, if you don't have a good vetting process, then what the hell? It's like if you're having someone come to, spend the night at your house, and you don't even bother to figure out if they're good or not. You don't take time to get to know them. You just literally find them on the street. It's like going up to a homeless person on the street being like, hey, do you want to stay at my house? Yeah, sure. Get them in the car. You don't know if they're a pothead or a crackhead. You don't know if they want to kill you. You don't know if they're going to steal from you. You don't know what they are. You could be letting a thief into your house, and you don't even know if you don't vet them. Our vetting process in day-to-day encounters is just getting to know people, because we don't even have, we don't really have to worry, at least at this point, about accidentally running into a terrorist. Well, with all these refugees, we might, but that's that. So and by the way, I'm going to get into how funny this is. So on November 2015, the Obama administration said it was going to bring in 10,000 refugees by October 1st, 2016. That was their line that they drew, that they wanted to have all these refugees in here by then, which is funny because that's right before the election, right? They want to bring them in, make sure they get them in and all in the system before the November election. They want to make sure they're all in here, which, I mean, if you think about it, that's smart on Obama's part, because Trump would get in there and be like, I don't know, and kick them all back, right? So he's being smart about it. Now, and it's funny because they did this ahead of schedule. This all happened ahead of schedule. And this is like the first time in the history of Washington, in the history of the Obama administration, that something happens ahead of schedule. I love how, like, when the government really puts their mind to something, They can get it done in really, really quickly. They can get it done really quickly. The problem is the stuff they want to get done really quickly is usually completely what's bad for the American people, what's horrible for the American people. The stuff they don't care about, like the stuff of the crumbling infrastructure, the horrible education system, they just forget about that. But when it comes to let's let in all the refugees, let's let in all the Muslims, they're right on top of that. They don't even care. So we are now at the point where we have 10,000 refugees in this country and probably going to have more. If Hillary Clinton wins the election, we've got a serious problem with refugees. There's going to be a lot more coming in. And that's very concerning to me. I really don't want these refugees coming in. But we have 10,000 now walking around. Any of them could be terrorists. I mean, all you need is one. One. What are the chances that one terrorist? Probably pretty high. Out of 10,000 people, one of them being mentally ill, one of them being a bad person, that the chances of that are fairly high. And that's what's concerning about this. It's not really concerning that, we're trying to help, which I don't even think Obama's trying to help. He knows that the majority of Muslims end up voting Democrat once they're in the system. So that's why he's doing this. And he's doing it by November 1st or by, October 1st, so we can get them all in the system so they can vote. This is so obvious, ladies and gentlemen. They don't care about the Muslims. They don't care about the poor Muslims getting killed. They want voters. They want voters. That's absolutely what they want. Do you know why they're not bringing any women and children? Because it's frowned upon for women to do anything or make any decisions, so they're not going to vote. Probably not going to vote. They might, but they probably won't. I really don't have any statistics on that, but I could probably look it up. I bet you a large majority of Muslim women don't. Actually, I'm going to look it up right now. Okay, I just tried to look. I couldn't find any solid statistics as of late, so just forget it. But I would be willing to bet that most Muslim women will vote the same way as their husbands because that's how it looks. That's how their society is. That's how their culture is. The man is the person in charge of the household, and the women really do what they say. And the kids, they're not going to vote, obviously, because they can't. So Obama doesn't even care about them. They're just bringing them in. Now, he wants to bring in all these voters, all these Democrats, all these refugees, all these potential terrorists, putting us at risk, right? He's putting the American people at risk. But that doesn't matter because he's leaving office. See, Obama has successfully created, and he's done it with the economy too, where he's created this bubble. There's a new housing market crash looming. Economists are talking about it all over the place. There's the higher education bubble, which I talked about, and I put the link to that in the bottom of my 2 videos ago on this channel, and you can find it on my main channel as well. Just all these problems that Obama has just been mounting, just racking up while he's been president. None of it's been happening with him. That's why you have these Democrats that still believe he was a good president, because there haven't been any really major problems that have happened while Obama's president, because he just keeps pushing them over until the next person comes, right? He wants Trump to take office because then if Trump takes office, the economy is going to be just in shit. We're just going to get a bunch of shit because it's just everything's going to come crashing down. And Trump is going to have one of the hardest jobs ever because he's going to have to get in here and prevent it, right? Which is really hard. So pray that Trump can do the job. But that's what concerns. So Obama's been pushing all that back, and he did it again with the freaking refugees. He's bringing in the refugees, and now Trump's going to have to deal with the potential terrorist attacks that happen, unless one of them does something before October 1st, but then Obama could just blame it on guns, right? Obama would just blame it on guns. Trump is going to blame terrorism, but he's going to look like a jerk because what actions... See, that's the problem with this, ladies and gentlemen. What actions do you take when a Muslim, commits an act of terror on U.S. soil? What do you go to war with ISIS? You declare war on Islam? A lot of people are for that. There's a lot of people that are in favor of declaring war on Islam. So do you do that? Do you say we're going to get all the Muslims out? We're going to put a ban on Muslims immigrating like you wanted to do before? Again, there's a lot of people that are in favor of that, but there's a lot of people who aren't. And then the left just calls you racist, they call you a bigot, they call you a horrible person, and then you're in a problem. So what do? It's kind of like if there is a terrorist attack, if there's a terrorist attack involving Muslims, you're in this position where it's like, what the hell are you going to do? There's really nothing that you can do that would be good. It's like Trump's policies are good. Trump's policies will be good for the country, but they make him look like such an ass. I mean, you've got the wall. You've got the deportation of the illegals, which he's kind of come back on that a little bit, saying that, maybe the ones that are working, we can have them on temporary work visas, kind of to pay taxes, which I think is fine. I know a lot of Trump supporters don't really care. They don't pay attention to that kind of thing, which is fine, right? But yeah, there's a problem that needs to be solved with the Muslims, and it just concerns me going forward on what Donald Trump's going to do. But I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about that because it's all theoretical, and I like to stick to the fact, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to get with that, and let's move on with more stories because I got so much to talk about. So Donald Trump, and I guess I'm going to be jumping back into race here. I didn't want to, but this is a huge campaign. Race is a huge thing in this campaign. Race is playing a big part in this campaign, and Donald Trump is doing something that no other Republican has tried to do in this large of an aspect before. They haven't ever tried to do this, and I kind of have a lot of respect for it. So obviously, there's a lot of race tension in this country. We got the Black Lives Matter, we got all that. Donald Trump is doing so much right now to try to attract African Americans to vote for him in the election. He's doing more than any other modern Republican has done in a long time. I mean, what have many of them done? Romney didn't really have that much of an African American outreach program. John McCain didn't. Donald Trump is getting on top of that. He's saying we need these voters, and he's doing it out of the kindness of his heart. It doesn't seem like he's doing it for, let's get them to vote for us, blah, blah, blah. It seems like he's doing it as a way of saying, hey, look, these African-American men and women, they are not, they're not being treated fairly by the Democrats. They deserve better. And it seems like he's trying to give them better. And it's really cool to watch. And Donald Trump is really having this outreach. Now, do I think it'll work? No, I don't think that Donald Trump is going to win the African-American vote in this election. If he did, that would be way cool. It'd be cool if you were able to win the African-American vote, but I really don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to win the vote. I think he might probably win the election. I just don't think he'll win the African-American vote. But it's really cool to see Republicans finally starting to do this. And this is the thing about Donald Trump and what he's been doing throughout this entire campaign, is Donald Trump has been changing the way things are done in the Republican Party, right? He's kind of making it more of he's morphing the party before our very eyes. If he had never entered the race, our nominee would probably be Marco Rubio or Jeb Bush or someone like that. Because, and here's the thing, if a lot of people would say Ted Cruz would be the nominee. I don't think so. I don't think if there was no Donald Trump, boosting that anti-establishment movement feeling kind of thing, I don't think there ever would have been a Ted Cruz chance. I think it would have been Jeb Bush or it would have been Marco Rubio. Probably Jeb Bush, because that's who the establishment supported at first. And they would just push Jeb Bush. I mean, remember, this election was supposed to be Hillary Bush. That was supposed to be the election. Nobody was excited for it because it was horrible. But it ended up being Trump. So he's now turned the Republican Party into the anti-establishment party, sort of like the Brexit party in America, right? The party that wants to end globalism. The party wants to get rid of this. He's awoken. He's woken up, I guess, awakened. I don't know why I said it weird like that. This whole group of people to vote for the Republican Party that are on his side. And it's awesome. He's changing the party. Now, he's also trying to reach out to African Americans. He wants to get the African American vote. Here is my concern, right? All this work that Donald Trump has done, everything that Donald Trump has put into this, if he loses this election, if we do not win this election, then everything, all the anti-establishment, next time, if we lose this election, in 2020, we are going to have another establishment run. I guarantee it. It's not going to be Ted Cruz. It's not going to be any of these. It's going to be Marco Rubio. It's going to be Jeb Bush. It's going to be someone establishment coming into the race. It's not going to be anybody like that, because then the Republican Party will have stopped it's kind of like a coup. That's how I see this. It's sort of like a coup. There's a little coup going on to try to take over the Republican Party, trying to change it, because the Republican Party is outdated. Republicans aren't doing anything. The voters of the Republican Party are irritated. They're not doing anything, and they just want to see change. And so they're trying to, this is what they're doing by electing Donald Trump, by voting for Donald Trump and making him the nominee. They're trying to make that change within the party. But if they lose, if Donald Trump loses, then for the rest of the time, all the Republicans will say is, well, we listened to you last time and we lost. So what are you going to do now? But anyway, I'm going to cut the show a little bit short here today because I have a lot of other stuff to do and more editing and stuff like that. So that is it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed, don't forget to give this a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more daily shows. I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Show will be up earlier, so make sure you're ready for that. I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.